Will Podziemski be able to drop 28 points, be hot from three like he was against the Nuggets and the Lakers, be able to shoot his lights out when the lights are brightest on him? I don't know. Comparing Steph now to his last championship run is like comparing LeBron's numbers now to his last MVP numbers. NBA starts selling NFTs, that's when I really start calling it out. That is disgusting behavior. I don't care what anybody feels about that. $50,000 for a piece of digital media, that is gross. So like this, if Boston does win, it don't matter who comes out the West. I think Boston is going to stomp them. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. If you know me, you know who I am. If you don't know me, my name is Trey Fab, okay? I like to make react content, whether that be reacting to different modern-day NBA, basketball creators, basketball in general. I also like to react to different drama, TikTok, YouTube nonsense. So if you like Brain Rot, I'm the guy for you. And if you like Basketball Insight, I'm the guy for you. That being said, today we're going to be reacting to Mike Korzemba's videos, The Warrior just exposed to NBA's biggest fear. Now, this is coming off the heels of the Warriors beating the Nuggets. And the Nuggets playing poorly. Aaron Gordon did not play well. Russell Westbrook did not play well. They had a multitude of turnovers that was just absolutely disgusting. I said the Warriors were going to get their ass kicked again. That turned out not to be true. Now, granted, the Nuggets were not at full strength. That is true, but they still were at full strength enough, in my opinion, to beat the Warriors, especially on a back-to-back, and they did not. They looked like a team that just started playing together again. Like, it just looked bad. The Warriors team defense just came out to play. They looked good, and again, the turnovers for the Nuggets is just disgusting. The transition defense, again, is just disgusting. The Nuggets this year worry me. They worry me. But it is going to be interesting because now the Lakers, if they win tonight, can pull up to that 3rd seed. The Nuggets would drop to that 4th seed, and the Warriors would be at the 5th seed. Now the Timberwolves can pull up to that 5th seed. Warriors drop to the 6th seed. It is all over the place. So I can't even make... I told you guys that I would make like a bracket. I can't even do that until the games are over. I'm going to make a bracket next week once the games are over because the West is just so fucking conjoined. You can have a first round that's going to be Warriors versus Nuggets and then Lakers versus T-Wolves, or you could have Lakers versus Nuggets in the first round and T-Wolves versus Warriors, or you could have Lakers versus Warriors and T-Wolves versus Nuggets in the first round, and this is all in the span of like one game. Like, we just gotta... We're gonna wait until to make a bracket until next week when things are more official. But for now, let's give the Warriors some credit. They've been playing well, and I'm going to give them credit where it's due. You know, I've been a huge Warrior doubter. In my heart, I still am. I told you guys I feel like they're a second round out, and I still feel that way. But hey, they've been playing well, so we're going to talk about them. It is what it is. So let's get this started.
It is official, the Golden State Warriors are 20-4 with Jimmy Butler in the lineup and have made one thing very clear. They are a real threat to win the NBA championship this season, but while Jimmy Butler has been excellent himself, another thing has become obvious. The addition of Jimmy has re-energized Steph Curry in a way that no one saw coming. Prime Steph Curry is back at it again and is capable of bringing the Warriors their 5th title of the Steph Curry era as. Against the Lakers, he just scored 37 points as Golden State took down LeBron and Luka on the road, and a game before that against the Grizzlies, even more impressively, we watched Steph put up 52 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, and 5 steals as he has become lethal. Before Jimmy was on this team, Steph was averaging 22.7 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 6.1 assists per game this season. Some people were even saying he did not deserve an all-star nod, but with Jimmy Butler on this roster, Steph has averaged 28.2 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 5.9 assists per game, numbers that are better than what he averaged during his 2015 MVP season, and numbers that are just slightly worse than his 2016 MVP season, which means we need to ask the question here. What exactly has changed with the Warriors, and can this change last? Can it break?
Here's my opinion. Can this change? What changed with the Warriors? Well, obviously Jimmy Butler, I feel, has enhanced the confidence of this team and has made them more likely to want to succeed and to push for a deep playoff run. Will this last? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think so. And here's why. Before Warrior fans come in here and start ripping my guts out and ready to jump at me, who has playoff experience on this team? We have Draymond. We have Steph, and Jimmy. Okay? Podziemski has no playoff experience. Post has no playoff experience. Buddy Hield, we could say he had garbage time minutes on the 76ers. If you want to count that, fair enough. Kuminga and Looney, they're in the lineup, and they will. I feel like Looney will be playing heavy minutes over Kuminga, but again, you have a total of 5 guys with playoff experience. The rest, you're going to have to depend on them. They are going to have to step up. Will Podziemski be able to drop 28 points, be hot from 3 like he was against the Nuggets and the Lakers, be able to shoot his lights out when the lights are brightest on him? I don't know. The playoffs is a different beast. That we've learned this time and time again. Ever since I've been starting to watch basketball, I've seen all-star players get to the playoffs and they just fall. I've seen it time and time again. One famous one, James Harden. No one questions James Harden's game. Right now, James Harden is playing really well. If you've been watching the Clippers, you know that. But why is it that people have the Warriors higher up than the Clippers? I mean, the Clippers have like a more full in depth lineup. The Clippers have a lot of people that have playoff experience on their team. But why is it that a team like the Clippers is just not as trusted as the Warriors? Well, one, they've been playing bad all season, but 2, is because of information we know. 1, we don't know if Kawhi Leonard's going to last. As far as his injury, we knock on wood, we hope he do. And 2, even if he does, we've seen what we've seen from James Harden in the playoff. We've seen it time and time again. When the playoffs come and the lights are brightest, he folds. So this is going to be interesting. If this lineup, if this team can play as well as they've been playing in the playoffs, I will eat crow. Okay? But I just don't think they're going to be able to beat a completely healthy Jamal Murray, Jokic team in the playoffs with their experience, even as bad as the Nuggets have been playing. Okay? I don't see them beating a Laker team in the playoffs with everyone on that team. Because let's look at a team like the Lakers. Let's look at their experience, right? LeBron James, obviously, been in the playoffs. Vanderbilt, been in the playoffs. Markieff Morris, yeah. Alex Len, don't care. He's not going to get minutes. Gabe Vincent has been in the playoffs. Goodwin, we could say he has it because he hasn't. Don't care about Cleveland. He's not playing. Dorian Finney-Smith, yes. Shake Milton, no. Hayes, yes. Hachimura, yes. Dalton, no. Reeves, yes. Doncic, yes. Most of the Lakers lineup have been in the playoffs. And they have playoff experience. And I think that matters. And we can go through a lot of teams like that have a lot of playoff experience on their team. So I think when it comes down to that, that is a very important piece and something that needs to be talked about. I know that a lot of people don't like to talk about it, but at the end of the day, when we're talking about the Lakers, when we're talking about the Nuggets, when we're talking about these teams being able to make it to the finals and why people have them on the list, it's not just because of LeBron James and Jokic. That's a part of it, but it's because you have players like Luka who go fucking bananas when the playoffs start. These players play insane during the playoffs, and they have shown that time and time again. I don't know how I feel about Podziemski in the playoffs. I don't know how I feel about a rookie Post in the playoffs. I don't. And that's an okay statement to have. I don't think that's a wild claim to have. I don't think that's a bad claim to have. I think it's okay to be suspect on whether or not this team can go far in the playoffs. That's it. Only because they just don't have the playoff experience. Now, I ranted a lot about that. I've said everything I needed to say as far as that go. But the Warriors are playing good. They showed me that they're playing well. And until the playoffs start, and until they start doing bad in the playoffs, I'm not going to sit here and say they 100% won't. I have to see what they do. So let's go ahead and continue. I just want to get my concerns out the way, what I feel out the way. Let's get back to the video. Let's glaze them because they deserve to be glazed. Point blank, period.
bring them another NBA title. What's up, Mike here, and let's start this off by watching some absolutely crazy clips. But right before we watch these clips, if you do enjoy this content, if you are enjoying this video, please subscribe and turn on post notifications. It helps out a ton, only if you're liking the video. And now let's watch those clips. Here is the Steph Curry effect. To begin this game against the Grizzlies, Draymond gets a wide open three off of a handoff to Steph because the defense only cares about Steph. Just a minute later, again, two defenders on Steph, Draymond gets the pass and finds Jimmy Butler for a wide open three. Then, with under 5 minutes left in the first, Quinn and Post sets the screen near half court. Both defenders don't even look at Quinn and Post. They only care about Steph Curry. Can you guess what happens? Yes, a wide open three, Quinn and Post connects. Meanwhile, still in the first quarter, Jimmy Butler is used to having to create his own offense, but here we have him as the screener in the pick and roll. Steph gets jumped, Jimmy gets the ball and just goes all the way to the basket for an easy dunk. Keep in mind, this is a game where Steph Curry scored 52 points, but his impact goes way beyond the 52 points that he scored on the stat sheet. When Steph is knocking down ridiculous threes, when he is playing in his apex prime mode, everyone on the Warriors benefits significantly. The thing about Steph Curry's reemergence is that in a way, we should have seen this coming. Steph's 52-point game against the Grizzlies was the 10th time he has scored 50 points in his career after the age of 30. That is the most out of anyone in NBA history, as Wilt Chamberlain did it 7 times. Michael Jordan, James Harden, and Damian Lillard are next on that list at 6, and both LeBron and Kevin Durant have 4, giving us one old man stat that LeBron is not winning it. And before Jimmy, Steph was publicly getting fed up with losses.
We're 1-20 when what?
I'm trailing after 3.
And although Steph never said anything specifically in regards to a trade demand other than he did want to stay with the Warriors, it was also very clear that frustration was starting to add up. The front office needed to start making moves fast in order to create a contender for Steph Curry's own version of The Last Dance, and Jimmy Butler has seemingly been the perfect fit here. He has been referred to as a supercharged Andre Iguodala, Iggy of course being a key member of multiple Golden State Warrior championship teams, and we have watched Steph just recently rip off 56 points against the Magic on February 27th, 40 against the Nets on March 6th, and now, to be honest, even if this is Steph Curry, this has been somewhat shocking because it looked like Father Time had finally caught up here. But now, playing on a real contender, everything has changed. And even more importantly, in this video, we are talking about the Warriors' hunt for a championship. And so with that, we need to compare what Steph is doing now to his last championship run in 2022. Because remember,
Okay, but alright, I don't know how much I like that. Here's why I'll be honest and tell you guys why I don't know how much I like that. Is because I don't know how much that matters. If we compare Steph now to his last championship run, it's like comparing LeBron's numbers now, because this has been done before, okay? Comparing Steph now to his last championship run is like comparing LeBron's numbers now to his last MVP numbers. I'm sorry. LeBron might be matching his MVP numbers when he got it back in Miami, but that doesn't mean I'm taking now LeBron over a Miami healthy prime Bron. That's just point blank period. Okay? When we're making these type of comparisons of these great teams, but of these great players, there is more that goes into the context than just the numbers. You can have prime Bron have the same numbers as old man Bron, but you're never going to take old man Bron over prime Bron because the energy, the defensive fucking mindset and energy on that side of the floor is going to be way different. So you're definitely going to take prime Bron over old man Bron. Not to disrespect old man Bron because he's playing great, but that's just a fact in the matter of what it is. So I don't like the comparison of like, let's compare the two, because one is in their prime and one isn't. And even though the numbers may be great, that doesn't, their impact is definitely going to be different. And plus, his impact alone is not going to be enough. If the Warriors are going to win a championship, they're going to need the Warriors to play well. Steph can go off for 50, just like we saw Jokic go off for 60 and still lose.
Remember, in 2022, it was the Memphis Grizzlies who were supposed to be the new young team to beat. Meanwhile, the Warriors already were seen as on their way out. The Grizzlies finished 2022 as the second seed in the West, and Ja Morant averaged 27.4 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 6.7 assists per game. In 2022, Ja finished 7th in the MVP voting and was second team All-NBA. Ja was also only just 22 years old. This was before all of the off-court drama that has now dragged Ja Morant down, seemingly. However, in these playoffs, the Grizzlies in the second round were matched up against the number 3 3 seed, the Golden State Warriors, and Golden State's championship experience shown through. Quick side note we need to talk about. In the first 3 games of this series, the Warriors did take a 2-1 lead. Ja Morant, though, by himself, averaged 38.3 points and 8.3 assists per game. But here is where things get even more interesting for the Golden State Warriors, because in the 2022 playoffs, Steph Curry was simply a megastar, which we're about to get into. But to end the 2022 season, in his last 22 games, the same amount of games that Steph has played with Jimmy Butler on this roster, Steph averaged 24 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and 6.5 assists per game to end this season. Those were solid stats, but they were not prime Steph Curry numbers, and they were not as good as the stats that Steph is currently putting up to end this season, aka Steph is on a true heater, and going into the playoffs, can we expect even more? This is incredibly promising for Golden State, because in those 2022 playoffs, Steph Curry would become the megastar we just mentioned. But before we continue, I'm very excited to say that this video is sponsored by NBA Top Shot. And as a Top Shot collector myself, I love the fact that NBA Top Shot allows you to collect top moments from NBA history. From LeBron's legendary finals block, which is going for 5 figures, to Anthony Edwards' first career bucket, the NBA's most important memories and legacy-defining moments exist on
What the fuck is this?
Top Shot. To me, the best part is that every top moment is limited edition and officially licensed by the NBA, which means that Top Shot truly is the future of basketball collectibles. You don't need to grade your cards or risk shipping them out, because Top Shot is fully digital and you are buying collectibles that have true.
Oh my god, it's an NFT. The NBA is selling NFTs. That is low-key disgusting. I'm gonna be honest with you. NBA starts selling NFTs. That's when I really start calling it out. That is disgusting behavior. I don't care what anybody feels about that. $50,000 for a piece of digital media. That is gross.
Scarcity from a global marketplace that operates 24/7. For instance, there are under 5,000 Wemby rookie cards, and his one-of-one moment sold for $145,000 last year. Top Shot also is your ticket to insane prizes. Use your collection to field lineups and make picks like fantasy sports. Prizes this season have included courtside seats at big games, meet and greets with legends such as Gary Payton and Joakim Noah, and even a brand new Kia. Top Shot is doing it big, and if you're new, there is no better time to jump in. Through my link, Top Shot is giving out a free pack to all new collectors, guaranteeing you a collectible from an NBA star. NBA Top Shot is a community of the game's most passionate fans from all over the world. Click my link and claim your free pack and see why NBA fans worldwide are obsessed with this product. Make sure to click that link. Thank you to NBA Top Shot for sponsoring.
This is a hot take for me. You guys can be mad if I say this. I don't care. I don't like that. I really don't like that. I don't like the whole idea of like shipping off a piece of digital meat. Bro, you don't own that moment. I don't care what anybody says to you. What are you collecting? Look at that on my wall. That's a collection. That is a collection. Okay? I can put it on my wall. I can have people come over. I could show them. What the hell is this? So I could just pull up my phone and be like, look, I own this. And then my friend can go on his phone and go, click. Because what it showed is, it shows Wemby's debut as a collectible moment. So $145,000 for that. He goes, click, play. I can see Wemby's debut right here on NBA.com. So yeah, but I own it now. Okay. I don't know what that means. Like, what the fuck?
Today's video, and now let's get back into the video. He would average 27.4 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 5.9 assists per game in the playoffs, but then in the finals against Boston, he was even better, averaging 31.2 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists per game in a 6-game series win. That included a Game 4 masterclass. Headed into Game 4, the Warriors were down 2-1 in this series. They needed to win Game 4. Steph, of course, came through, scoring 43 points with 10 rebounds while shooting 14 for 26 from the floor. Meanwhile, the rest of the Warriors shot just 26 for 65, aka the rest of the team shot 40%. In this game, Steph Curry swung the finals to the Warriors' favor, but really, after the Warriors did not lose again and took this championship, this was the series that started the who is better argument, Steph Curry or Magic Johnson for best point guard of all time. And now, Steph has a chance to do something even more interesting in this year's playoffs, because he and a man by the name of LeBron James just so happen to both have 4 championships for their career. Steph has a chance to win another. He has a chance to finish his career with more titles than LeBron James, which is not a statement of hate towards LeBron, but no matter how you slice this, we would have to agree that Steph Curry winning 5 titles in the same era as LeBron James, while never changing teams, while going through several different iterations of a different roster, would be incredibly meaningful for his all-time legacy. To many, Steph winning a championship here would make him the greatest point guard of all time. In terms of a top 5 player of all time, top 10, I'm curious what you think down below. But here is the question. What does Golden State need to do to get the job done here and win the whole thing, win the championship? Well, one man is certainly the X factor here, but before we get into that X factor, let's talk about a few other role players. Pods is playing better than we have ever seen him play before. Steph Curry was a true superstar in the 2022 playoffs, that is for certain. But no one in the NBA wins without any help, even Michael Jordan, and 3 players for the Warriors in that playoff run also averaged over 10 points per game. Klay Thompson averaged 19, Jordan Poole averaged 17, Andrew Wiggins put up 16.5. On any given night, one of those 3 players was able to step up and give Steph Curry a big-time scoring option. Jimmy Butler for this Golden State Warriors team changes a lot because now, unlike in 2022 when Klay Thompson was somewhat on the decline, Jimmy is going to give the Warriors a big-time secondary scoring option, which means when one of their role players steps up in a meaningful way, it is going to be very hard to beat this team. And looking at the Warriors' current roster, Pods has been an absolute beast. We cannot sleep on what he is doing. The Warriors have made it very clear that Pods is not a trade piece, he is a building block for them. However, to begin the season, before Jimmy Butler joined this team, Pods was averaging just 9.4 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 3.4 assists per game on 32.7% shooting from deep. Since Jimmy has joined this team, though, those numbers have exploded up to 14.4 points per game, 5.7 rebounds, and 3.4 assists on 40.7% shooting from 3, a noticeable upgrade. When both Steph and Jimmy are...
Yeah, he's playing extremely well. I want to give all props to Pazinski, or Paz. One thing I do want to reiterate and state and make extremely clear. I agree with everything Mike Korzemba has said. We don't live in a game anymore where one player can just have a heater and the game is a win. That just doesn't happen. Not anymore. You can maybe have a couple games, but you're not winning a series that way. Right? We can look at the games that happen. Look at Jokic 60. Look at Jokic last night. And they still lost. You get what I'm saying? Like with this team, they're going to have the role players step up. But again, the difference with the role players of yesteryear and the role players now is I don't know if I trust them in the playoffs yet. But we will see. I got to give the Warriors credit where they deserve it. And they've been playing extremely, extremely well. But I think that matchups is going to be everything. Do I think the Warriors can have a tough 7-game series with the Nuggets? Yes, but if the Nuggets is completely healthy, especially if Jamal is on the floor, okay, I feel like the Nuggets are going to have that series, at least in my opinion. The Nuggets won like 9 straight games against the Warriors before last night. And granted, like I said and like I brought up, the Warriors played extremely well. But I think not having Jamal Murray on the floor is extremely important. So when you have Jamal Murray on the floor and you have Jokic on the floor, that's a problem. That's a problem for the Lakers, let alone the Warriors. So I just don't know. And again, let's make sure we glaze them because the Warriors played well. And they deserve to get credit. I just want to point that out. And Kuminga has been not playing as well as he should have been. 6 points last night. Hield had 5. Post had 3. Like, I don't know. They still won, but it's one of those things where it's like you need your whole team to step up. Like, these are the playoffs we're talking about. And this is going to be probably the most competitive Western Conference playoffs that we've seen in a long time. But if Boston does win... I see it like this. If Boston does win, it don't matter who comes out the West. I think Boston is going to stomp them. But if Cleveland ends up winning, we might get a competitive 7-game series depending on who comes out the West. It's kind of crazy to say so, but matchups this year is everything. But we'll see what happens.
Here on the court, it creates a lot of problems for defenses, and guys like Pods are able to step up. And yes, Pods is getting more open looks because of these 2 players, but more importantly, perhaps, he is able to isolate himself and score himself as the primary ball handler. This could be absolutely key during the playoffs because having a 3rd player that's able to create his own shot on the offensive end just makes the Warriors that much more difficult to guard. On the defensive end, teams have to deal with picks, back screens, cuts, dribble handoffs. This Warriors offense is free-flowing, it's moving, it is hard to keep track of everyone. everyone, and if someone like Pods is delivering at a high rate, it makes Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler's job that much easier. The same can easily be said about Jonathan Kuminga. Kuminga has now scored 15 or more points in his last 6 games. He is easily one of the biggest wild cards, I would say, in the entire NBA, because playing with Golden State, there has essentially been a limit to the amount of shots Kuminga has been able to take, and he has also had a limit to his playing time. But per 36 minutes, Jonathan Kuminga is averaging 23 points per game, which is massive. That is what Golden State is going to need if they are going to secure a championship. Steph needs to be the superstar. Jimmy Butler needs to be the ultimate second option. But then guys like Pods or Kuminga need to step up and give them third scoring options on nights where Steph or Jimmy are not playing the best they possibly can. And looking at this roster, the Warriors certainly do have scoring options. Buddy Hield, Moses Moody, Quinn and Post. The scoring is there, so really the X factor is going to be everyone's favorite player, Draymond Green. Now at this point in time, I don't even know if we could say love him or hate him. Draymond is very impactful because it feels like most people just hate him. Draymond is certainly living in a villain arc or just lifestyle, but we have to admit, even if you dislike him, Draymond's impact on the defensive end cannot be denied. Let's watch this play versus the Lakers where he seals the game.
6-point game. Here comes Doncic. Butler in the way. Luka down the lane. Wheels. Tipping the ball. Butler.
This pissed me off. This play right here pissed me off more than it should have. But the reason it pissed me off so much is because you have Luka driving the ball when you had a hot hand Reeves, a hot hand Bron, and you just... Ooh.
The defense. Here comes Curry. Foul.
Give him the trophy already.
Remember, in 2022, the Warriors did not have a true center to count on, and Draymond played out of his mind on defense as an undersized center. Without him, they do not win the championship. Draymond logged 32% of his playoff minutes at the 5 spot. He held his own there, and in the 2025 season, he is now currently the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. But we also have to remember here, Steph and Draymond's on-court chemistry is unmatched. Jimmy, as a perimeter defender, especially in the playoffs, tries to lock players down as much as possible. He is an absolute menace. Steph is an all-time scorer. He's playing at an all-time rate. Really, if Draymond is able to give the defensive impact that we have seen him give in the past, if he plays like the Defensive Player of the Year in the playoffs, well, Golden State is going to have a real chance to win this thing. The NBA playoffs this year are filled with unproven teams at the top. The Thunder have been an absolute unit. I am not disrespecting them at all. They have been incredible. The thing is, it's a story as old as time in the NBA. Sometimes, even if you are the best team in the regular season, if you are a young, unproven roster that does not have that championship experience, the veteran-led team with championship experience can take you down. The Warriors have all of the playoff experience in the world. Steph Curry is playing better than ever. I don't think it would shock anyone if they were able to do it again and win Steph his 5th ring. But I want to know, what do you think down below? And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications. Only if you like the video, only if you like the content, but it would mean a ton. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You are awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day and cue that music.
Interesting. Yeah, like I continue to say, like I will keep continuing to say, I really like the Warriors and how they've been playing so far. It's just a lot of unproven commodities. It's just a lot of unproven X factors. There's just a lot of pieces that need to fall into place. I could say the same about the Lakers. I could say the same about the Thunder. We just need to wait and see. I want to see what the Lakers do against the Thunder tomorrow. That's going to be a big game. Luka did not play well. And one thing I want to bring up is if Luka played well against the Warriors ended up losing, and Steph still dropped 37 points. So, that's important to bring up. Luka just needs to be Luka. Not Luka Magic, just Luka, and the Lakers probably pull away from that game. He made a lot of mental lapses, a lot of mental mistakes, and didn't get back on defense a few times. If Luka is just Luka, they might win that game, but shoulda, woulda, coulda, woulda is everything. But the only reason I bring that up is because I know shoulda, woulda, coulda. We can play that game all day, every day. But the reason I bring that up is it's important to do so. Because in a 7-game series, are we expecting Luka to play subpar to himself the entire series and Steph to play at a mind-blowing level the entire series? I don't think so. So that's why I'm saying I'm not fully committed on the Warriors, but I'm never going to turn around and say that they're not able to pull a rabbit out the hat and show people why they're one of the best dynasties in the NBA. But we'll see what happens. Nonetheless, though, I hope you guys liked the video. If you like the content, please like, comment, subscribe. Got anything you want me to react to, let me know, and I'll do so. But until next time, my friends, I need to go nurse my headache because it is killing me. I hope you have a good one. Deuces. Love you. Peace, peace. Mwah, mwah. Goodbye.